Hi, everyone. I'm Barb Alvarez with Church by the Sea. Thank you so much for joining us at our Friday Self-Care Lunch and Learn webinars. Just a few announcements before we start. Let's see. Here we go. Just remember that every Tuesday and every Thursday we are having our reemployment webinars. This coming Tuesday, the 20th, we're having networking with Marta Ramirez. She is a professional with the Greater Miami Society for Human Resources Management. And on Thursday, she will be giving the same presentation in Spanish. And then on October 27th, we will have Pilar Proctor doing interviewing, how to land the job. And on the 29th, she will present the same thing in Spanish. All of these webinars, both the self-care and the reemployment, are all available on our church website at churchbythesea.org. So if you missed some information, you want to send it to somebody, send the link to someone so they can see it because you think they'll benefit from it, please, absolutely do. We will have these up indefinitely. This Friday, well, in a second, I will introduce our speaker, but next Friday, we will have Chef Dulce doing healthy sweets. Do not miss that one. It's going to be special. The following Friday, the 30th, we have holistic interior design with the Curated Home, the designers over at the Curated Home. And the following Friday, we have the science of deep rest, of deep conscious rest. And that sounds really cool as well. But without further ado, let me introduce to you our expert today, Christina Pearce. She is a guided meditation expert, a mindset coach, and she also happens to be the director of wellness over at the Center for Social Change in Miami. And I will stop talking and let you take the floor, Christina. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again. I'm excited to connect with you all and go into some meditation today and talking about meditation and also just, encouraging you to start practicing. If you don't already have a regular practice, hopefully this will inspire you to start. And if you have a regular practice, hopefully this will inspire you to keep going with your practice. So I'm going to jump in and share my screen so that I can share my presentation today. Let's see. We're also going to be doing some actual meditation. So to prepare you for your weekend, let me just get this up and ready to go. So hello everybody, my name is Christina Pearce, and this is a presentation to help you get inspired to start meditating if you're not already meditating. We'll talk about some of the wonderful, profound effects of meditation, and or maybe it's the first time and you're just beginning to inquire about the benefits of meditation and how it can be helpful for you. So I hope this will be helpful for you. I started meditating myself probably about 15 years ago. I came to meditation through yoga. I had transitioned from one job. I used to be an agent for directors in the advertising world and started to move toward doing yoga. I was attracted to all the very physical benefits of yoga, and I felt like it was a really good exercise for me because I didn't really like to do any like hardcore strenuous exercise, but I really loved the benefits I was getting as it helped me. What I didn't anticipate was that I would find that the effects of stillness and sitting still were going to be so incredibly powerful for me. I had no idea that meditation would actually take me to a whole nother place. Not to say that yoga, the practice of yoga or the asana practice of yoga is not also a meditation, but the seated meditation practice is what was for me the most surprising experience, and I just found so much benefit from it. My first teacher, I'll never forget him saying that every single time that you come to sit in meditation should be as if it was the very first time for you to do it. And I really love that, because even if you are a beginner, um, and or if you're someone who's been meditating for 15 years like myself, it's always a new entry point. It's always a new beginning, a new possibility, a new uh, opening to really getting to know yourself. And that sometimes can be difficult, and sometimes it can be very exciting, and other times it just feels like something that you just are doing. But all in all, the experience of just being present with yourself is an entry point, and it's always a new beginning. So I hope that even if you've been meditating for many, many years, that you're continuing to explore yourself in brand new ways. And we'll start to go into more of that. So I always like to look at the benefits of meditation. These are just a few points that I jotted down, but there's so many amazing things about meditation that if someone came along and gave you a prescription drug that could do all of these things, I think everybody would take it. So we know that it improves cognition. We know that it lengthens your attention span. It helps you to have better sleep and a deeper sleep. It boosts the immune system. It's a natural stress stabilizer. It reduces anxiety. It enhances empathy and self-awareness. And the beautiful thing about what's happening right now that I find extremely exciting is that there's so many universities right now, Harvard, Stanford, Yale, that are doing research on the benefits of meditation. And I think we're just at the very beginning of understanding what meditation can do. There's so much that meditation can do for us. And that research is starting to prove more and more possibilities that we never even imagined. Now, we know that meditation has been a part of many religions for thousands of years, but now we're actually getting the science behind it to really understand why it helps, what it's doing, and of course, the best way to know is to do it. So hopefully you'll be inspired to be your own experiment, see what is actually helping you, how it's helping you in your own life, and start recording what the benefits are, because sometimes it's really actually hard to put into words what's happening, and sometimes it's very clear what is actually happening. For me, I noticed a major difference in my attention span immediately. I noticed that I could focus on things for much longer periods of time. And in this age that we're in, where there's so many distractions, just being able to have that as a tool for yourself is a good enough reason to start meditating more, not to mention all the other things that it helps with. But the idea of it also enhancing empathy and self-awareness is, in this particular time that we're in, dealing with COVID and dealing with political unrest, I think that it's a really important thing to know how to really understand another person and how to empathize, because we could all become much better at being empathetic and knowing what we're responsible for, and knowing, understanding who we are and what our role is in this society, what our purpose is, and connecting with that. So I'll move to the next slide. So now, this is what I think is so fascinating for me. about meditation is just becoming aware of myself. And one of the things that we know for sure is that the gray matter in the brain increases when we are meditating more. So that basically means that we're creating these new neural pathways that really help us to expand ourselves in ways that we never even thought were possible. I know for me personally that becoming aware of my feelings has been a huge part of my how I relate to people in my life. So I've become a much better listener just because I've become more aware of my feelings. And for this sort of understanding of like coming out of the unconscious way of operating in the world and coming into a more conscious way of operating in the world, we are able to see how our feelings are, what our thoughts are, what sensations we're having in the body. And we are armed with this awareness in such a big, powerful way with how we operate. 95% of how we operate in the world is unconscious. So what that means is, and I'm going to give you a great story and an example of that, but what that means is that we have a lot of very automatic behaviors. There's a lot of things that we do that we don't even realize we are doing automatically. I'll give you an example. A friend of mine was telling me this story the other day, and I thought it was really interesting. He was saying that he was putting toothpaste on his toothbrush, and his girlfriend looked at him and she said, "Why do you put so much toothpaste on your toothbrush?" And he looked down and he thought, I, I don't know. I have no idea. And he thought it was an odd question. And he just went on brushing his teeth. And a couple days later, he was sitting in front of the TV and he came across, I don't know, maybe a Colgate commercial where they were putting toothpaste right across the toothbrush, like a whole lot of toothpaste. And he thought, oh, this is probably where I picked it up. I probably saw it on TV, and now I put a lot of toothpaste on my toothbrush. And so he started watching her, which he never was aware of before, but he started watching her and noticed that she really didn't put too much on. And so he started brushing his teeth with the amount that she puts on, which is a very little amount. And he had the same results. He thought, gosh, all these years I've been using a lot of toothpaste. And this is a great example of how we pick up things from our environment, and we do these things unconsciously. We don't even understand how we are unconsciously operating in the world. And the thing that I love about meditation is that those kinds of conscious behaviors or moments of consciousness helps us to question the narrative and question what we take to be a normal everyday thing that we do. Just her asking the question, why do you put so much on, took him through this journey of understanding that, wow, he has some unconscious behaviors that, not that they're good or they're bad, but he just has these unconscious behaviors that now he became aware of. And so what I really like to stress about the power of meditation is just this idea that we have ways that we do things. We have relationships that we operate in very specific ways. I don't know if you've even noticed that, or if this has ever happened to you. You're driving to work and you drive to work every single day. And some days you get to work and you don't even know how you got there. Or, you know, you walk your kid to school and there's some days you get to school and you just get there and you're thinking, gosh, I wasn't really consciously aware of bringing my kid here, but I just managed. There's a lot of things that we do that are very similar to that, where we become very automatic in how we operate in the world. And what meditation helps us do is it brings almost like a flashlight to our experience in the world so that we can observe how we are exploring the world. And then from that perspective, we have the option to make choices on how we do things. And this is the awareness that all sort of meditators or yogis seek, is just becoming consciously aware of our thoughts, our feelings, and even the sensations in our body. Because a lot of times, if you just follow the sensations that you have, you will notice that it can link to other things that are happening in your body. So just taking the time to sit before any kind of chronic diseases develop or anything starts to develop in the body that is unwanted, a lot of times you can become more tuned in to exploring and understanding what is happening in your body just by paying attention. Paying attention to our feelings also helps us understand how how effective we are in our communication and how we are talking to other people, the way we speak to other people. What kind of judgments do we project onto other people? What are we projecting about ourselves when we're communicating with other people? It's all about bringing this conscious awareness to all these areas of our lives. That's what makes meditation so powerful. So even if we look at the very specific things it can do for us, the overall arching thing for me personally is that it makes us and myself self-aware. And self-awareness is the key to being present. So I want to go, people have often asked me, well, isn't this a meditation? Isn't yoga meditation? Isn't drumming? I've had somebody say drumming is a meditation for me, or running is a meditation for me, or sewing is a meditation for me. And that is all true. All of those things can be a meditation. Meditation tends to have a key component to it, which is about repetition. There's always something that actually helps us drop into those alpha states where we can sort of drop into a deeper state of awareness where we're repeating something over and over again. So for jogging, it might be running. For drumming, it might be just the rhythms. A walk in nature can be a meditation for people. Maybe it's a route that you normally take all the time, but now you're bringing in more conscious awareness to it. But a seated meditation actually allows you to drop into a deeper state. So I want to make a distinction that when you are in seated meditation, when you're closing your eyes and you're allowing yourself to drop into a deeper state, that type of meditation can take you into a deeper sort of awareness of self. So it's not that those other things are not good or that they don't actually benefit you, because they do. But being in a seated meditation allows you to explore the interior, the energy that's happening in your body. A lot of the involuntary things like your heart beating or your breath that happen in the body are just more, you get a chance to really allow yourself to tune in to what's present for you in the here and the now. And you're shutting most of your senses down so that you can explore and really understand it. So I always say to people, just sit, just take a moment to be quiet, to close your eyes, to tune into the deeper awareness that's within you, that is always ready to present information for you, information about your life, information about your heart's desire, maybe something you forgot about that was important to you. Sometimes it's a message about your feelings or the stress that you're under. So yes, it's important to sit. And I also want to address that a lot of people say to me that they can't meditate because once they start meditating, the monkey mind starts and they have all these thoughts on their mind about a bunch of different things. And the key is that we are constantly processing thoughts, even when our eyes are opened. So it's okay to give yourself that space and that time to really allow yourself to process that information and come back to the practice. Teaching yourself to come back to whatever the practice is. Sometimes that's focusing on your breath. Sometimes that's about a mantra. Sometimes that's about something that you're doing repetitively with your fingers. You know, there are all kinds of very simple ways to practice meditation, and there's all kinds of techniques. But ultimately, the idea is to really bring yourself into a smaller part of yourself so that you can listen. To me, meditation is about listening. And that's where I would separate prayer from meditation. Prayer is an opportunity for you to communicate with divine source, with God, with creator. But meditation is your opportunity to really listen to the messages that are coming back to you. So I really just say that, like, whatever you're practicing, it's great, but also try to include a seated practice of just being still into your day. I love this quote by Thich Nhat Hanh, which is, "If we're living in the past, we're open to depression. In the future, we're open to anxiety. Only in the present, we're open." And I love that, because that opening of the present moment is where we can really explore gratitude and being present with all the wonderful things that we have in our lives, appreciating without judgment what's going on in our bodies, appreciating without judgment what is happening, whether that is having a roof over your head or having, you know, food on the table, just being present with what truly is. Now, anxiety is often starts because if you are experiencing anxiety at any point, you can know immediately and be thankful actually for anxiety, because you can know immediately that you are not present. You can sense immediately if you're starting to feel a lot of pressure, you're already in projecting something into the future. You're already in a mind state where you are not present. So it's an indicator, just like pain is an indicator, that your mind is somewhere else. It is not in the present moment where the door is open to all kinds of possibilities. So you really do want to not judge yourself for feeling anxious, but just take a moment to notice it. This is where it all begins, bringing the light, the flashlight, to what is consciously, what you can bring conscious awareness to. So I really love that quote, and I just wanted to share that. So now we'll talk about mindfulness, and mindfulness is, you know, not always about seated meditation, even though I'm encouraging seated meditation. Mindfulness is about how you bring present moment awareness to your day, to each moment, to this moment right now. This moment right now has so much possibility in it. And I would like for you right now in this moment to just take a nice deep breath. And take another deep breath. And now I want you to look around you, and we're going to do another present awareness type of game. And I want you to look around you and look for 5 things that are blue. 5 things that are blue. So just take notice of those 5 things. And once you've noticed those 5 things, I want you to notice 4 things that you can touch. So literally, I want you to touch 4 different textures. So whatever's around you, just touch 4 different textures of things and notice the difference between those 4 things that you've touched. Okay. Just noticing the textures of those four things. And then three things that you can hear. So just take a moment and listen to your surroundings around you and notice three things that you can hear. They might be very close to you, or they might be very far. It might be my voice is one of those things. But just take a moment to notice sound. Good, and hopefully you could identify those three different things that you could hear. And now two things that you can smell. So two things that you can smell. Maybe it's in the air. Maybe it's a cloth. Maybe it's your hair. And then when you've done that, one thing that you can taste on your tongue. Just identify one thing that you can taste on your tongue. Now, this is kind of the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method of becoming present. And if you're ever in a situation where you're feeling a lot of anxiety, you can do this exercise of just 5 things that you can see that are a particular color if you want, or just noticing shapes and sizes of things. 4 things that you can touch, noticing textures around you. 3 things that you can hear, paying really close attention to listening. 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste on your tongue. This is an exercise that brings you into the present moment and allows you to be present, because in the present, all of our power is. All of our power to make choices about the future is happening in this moment now. So no matter what type of meditation you do or what type of practice you've heard about that is out there, no matter what it is, the anchor to everything is going to be your breath. And I want you to really contemplate how amazing that is. That we're not, as human beings, we're not plugged into a socket somewhere. We're not like, you don't have to recharge our batteries, so to speak. You do, but there's not an extension cord that's plugging into our back into the wall, or we're literally just operating in this electrical magnetic field of energy, and we are connecting in that energy. We are able to do a number of different things in our body, in our body systems, and in just our process of thinking, because our breath allows us to do that. Our breath allows us to exist. So how could we not, in many ways, just adore breathing? How could we not adore and enjoy, just like a really good meal? When you have a really good meal in front of you, it just is everything, especially if you're hungry. The breath is just such a beautiful, wonderful thing to appreciate, and understanding how powerful it is just basically takes 2 seconds to just sit and take a nice deep breath. So when you take your next breath, I want you to drink in that breath as if you're drinking or eating something really delicious. Okay, so just take a moment right now to really appreciate your breath. And take one more deep breath, as again, as if it's the best breath you ever took in your life. We know that breathing is the key to all meditation. So no matter where you go, if you even just, or no matter what technique you've heard of, if you even just use your breath as your practice alone, appreciating the experience of the breath, appreciating the sensations in your body, appreciating opening the heart. The heart is right next to the lungs. They literally are hugging each other almost when you breathe. You're expanding when you take a deep inhale and contracting when you exhale. So you really want to enjoy the practice of breathing alone is the meditation that no matter what is going to be a part of how to meditate. So if you can breathe, you can meditate. It's not about the distractions, it's not about all the thoughts, it's about the breath. Thoughts are something we can expect are going to happen because they're natural. It's natural for the brain to want to process information. But the most natural and beautiful thing is that the breath will always anchor you back to your truth. And you can have profound experiences with the breath. The breath has helped with trauma, it's helped with depression, it's helped with anxiety. People tell you immediately when you start to panic, it's the first thing they tell you to do is like, okay, just take a deep breath, because we know that this is medicine and we're doing more research around why that is true. I want to talk about some of those benefits. There is one way of breathing that is shameful and constricted. Then there's another way, a breath of love that takes you all the way to infinity. Rumi. I love this quote, and I love it because it's true. Our breath connects us infinitely to the cosmos and to the universe. It's almost like the umbilical cord when you're in your mother's womb. It's the true connection to our center, to our source, to our possibilities. And again, these are just some of the benefits of breathing. It relieves pain. So if you're ever having any very intense pain, it's always good to just inquire about that pain by going into your body, feeling into your body, and breathing into your body. It detoxifies the body. It improves immunity. It increases energy and it improves digestion. Just a few. These are all very physical. There's a lot of psychological benefits to doing breath work and connecting with the breath. So in all, in my presentation today, I just want to say that meditation is a technology. It will help us deal with the current age that we're in of technology. We have a lot of distracting, energies and forces and things that we have to deal with around us all the time. And I believe that meditation has become so important because as technology has increased, so has the wisdom of the ancients about meditation, getting science to back us in understanding how powerful it is a really good thing. But the key is to experiment with it yourself, give yourself the patience and the time. And I know it's hard. It's still hard for me sometimes to be patient with myself when I have so much going on in my life and I have so much talk in my head, negative self-talk, worries, concerns. But every time I sit, I get up and I feel better. And sometimes I don't totally feel better, but I know something has shifted and I know that my attention span is better and I know that something is happening. Maybe there's an emotion that I had been dealing with that I didn't know about that now I'm aware of. Again, flashing the light, bringing conscious awareness to the unconscious. And sometimes I just generally feel like, wow, I would not have been able to make it through the day if I didn't take that time to meditate. So I want to just encourage you guys to take that time. It does not have to be complicated, but it is going to benefit you no matter what you do. So thank you for being present with me today. I hope this has been a great experience. We are going to do a little bit more meditation right now. I just wanted to uh, appreciate you for taking the time to be present and for taking the time to give yourself the self-care and the self-love that requires that you show up for yourself. And I love that Church by the Sea is offering these great opportunities for everyone to practice and learn. So let's get into our practice a little bit more. So wherever you are right now, just make sure you have a comfortable place to sit. And I'm just going to see, before we actually get into anything, if there's any questions that anybody has before we go into our meditation. Feel free to ask if you want specifics about anything. Now's the time to ask. Otherwise, we can just go into our experience in our meditation today. So I'll just give a couple seconds here. And I'll check into this at the end of our session today. See if anybody has any questions. So here we are. Please just make sure you have a comfortable place to sit, and hopefully you're in a space where you won't be interrupted. And close your eyes. Just take a moment right now. And start to soften the jaw. So if you tend to clench your jaw at all, just take a moment right now to soften the jaw and let go in the jaw. And if you've been at the computer a lot, then just notice the eye area and soften the eyes. Soften the eyelids, the eyeballs, the back of the eyes. Just noticing that entire area. Without any judgment, just noticing. And then you can start to tune in with your breath. So starting to notice the inhales and the exhales. Notice the movement of the belly. Relax your shoulders. Notice if your shoulders are sort of scrunching up toward your ears. And just see if you can surrender the shoulders a little bit more. So just with our breath, we're signaling to all the different parts of our body that it's okay to surrender a little bit here. It's okay for you to take this time for yourself to notice internally what is happening for you. And maybe you have some thoughts that are coming up. But you can just notice those thoughts and bring your attention and awareness back to your breath. And see if you can drop a little deeper into sensing the energy in your body, sensing the movement of energy that's happening right now internally. Maybe even if you're quiet enough, you'll notice your heartbeat or a pulse. It could be in your fingers, in your wrists, in your neck. If you're quiet enough, you'll notice a pulse. And now bring your attention and awareness to your heart. And imagine that there's a tiny little seed that has been planted right in the center of your heart. And that seed that's been planted is all the beautiful things that you hope for. Beautiful things that you desire for your family, for yourself, for the world. And try not to overthink and get too intellectual about it, but just sense a feeling of gratitude for this desire that you have to make things better, to be happy, to see your family happy, to see the world in a better place, in a happier place. And trust that that seed that has been planted in your heart is in the seed that has been planted in everyone's heart. We are all connected by this desire to live in a world of peace. Stay connected to your breath. And then just take a moment and bring your hands to your heart, placing your hands right on top of the heart. And as if you're nurturing that seed that's been planted with your hands, feeling the warmth of your hands, the energy of your hands, encouraging that seed to grow, nurturing that seed with your breath and with your hands. Just take a moment to think of something that you are extremely grateful for in your life right now. We know that gratitude increases oxytocin. And think about why you're so grateful for that thing that you chose. What is it about that that really helps you live your life? And now just release your hands down. We're going to take 3 delicious inhales and exhales as if they are the best food you ever ate or juice you ever drank. Just breathe as if it's the best breath you've ever breathed. And slowly open your eyes. And look at the room around you. Just notice the colors. Notice all the colors in the room. Notice your skin, feel your hands. Listen to any sounds that you can hear. Smell anything that you could smell in the air around you. And taste your tongue. Notice the taste on your tongue. Welcome to the present moment. I encourage you to stay in the present moment, to operate from the present moment, to listen to your friends, your family, the people, the strangers on the street. Listen in the present moment. Be here and explore the miraculous amazingness of what is here and now already. That everything that you wish for and hope for, trusting that it will grow. And I just am very grateful to be here with you guys today. I hope this was helpful for you. And I hope it encourages you to continue your meditation practice. If you have any questions about different styles of meditation or how you'd like to be consistent with your practice, let me know. I'm always available to have this discussion. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Christina. Whew, I needed that. I didn't realize how tense I was until I started to come down. Thank you so much. I loved the notice five things, 4, 3, 2, 1. I loved that meditation. You talked about, oh, we have some questions. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, just thank you. Great session. Thank you. You talked about or you didn't talk about it, but I'd like for you to talk about it. Where can we access meditation if we have a hard time sitting and doing it for ourselves? Where can we get access to some guided meditations?
Great question. So I would say, okay, so I would say that there is definitely a lot of great stuff on social media. Let me just, I'll say that first. Um, Definitely on YouTube. There's a lot of great guided meditations on YouTube, Facebook, especially during this time of COVID. You can find a lot of great practices. But I would suggest, even though I do want to say that because I have found a lot of really good things there, but I would suggest trying to stay away from your computer as much as possible. Um, and there are some apps there. I mean, that's still, connecting you. But the app that I really like is Insight Timer. That's probably my very favorite app because Insight Timer, you can do just the timer, or they have thousands of different types of meditation if you're just starting out. If you want a meditation for sleep, if you want a meditation for being more productive, concentration. I mean, there are so many great meditation teachers that are teaching some really great types of meditation. Um, so I would say Insight Timer. There's the Calm uh, app that I've heard good things about as well. I haven't used it personally, but I think that that's a good. I think apps are probably a better way to go, mainly because um, obviously with social media and finding stuff on Facebook and Instagram and even YouTube, you can get sucked into this whole world of looking at stuff, right? And the idea is really to keep your eyes closed. Not that there are open eye meditations, by the way, but the real thing is you want to really shut down as many of your senses as possible so that you can explore that interior world, so that you can really notice for yourself. Like, this is what we're up against right now. And Barbara, I know you understand this, is that we have been sort of developing our practice around yoga and meditation, not just for no apparent reason. We've been cultivating a understanding and a learning of how to focus our attention. Because I think that the downfall of everything that's going on is that everything's competing for our attention right now. And so I think that if you can find ways to meditate with less distraction and less things around you that will tempt you to go away from really going into yourself, the better it will be for you. So I would say, to help you, yes, the apps are good. Um, but if you can start to cultivate just learning a practice, maybe you get a practice from YouTube or you get a practice from Insight Timer, but really start doing it by yourself with yourself, because you want to be able to trust that you have everything you need to guide you and to really become strong. And I'm glad that I started meditating 15 years ago because there wasn't all of this stuff, right? It really was very simple. And when you can trust that just sitting for 5 minutes or even 10 minutes does have a benefit, even if you can't see it immediately, you can trust that they have done science. They have They have researched simple things and noticed major differences in the way people have related to other people, in the way that they focused on a project, in the way that they've digested their food. I mean, there's there's so many crazy studies out there, but just taking that little bit of time is actually helping you to get better at focusing. So what I would say is, yes, there are things out there that can help you. There are apps, there are schools, there are trainings you can do all of them if it feels good. But don't neglect your own personal practice of just sitting quietly and either, using your breath or using a mantra and trusting in yourself that that's all you really need and it will benefit you.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you so much, Christina. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you again to Church by the Sea for making these self-care lunch and learns available to us. Remember, next Friday, we have Chef Dulce at this very same time, teaching us how to make healthy sweets. So sweets that will actually benefit your body. So tune in, I'm sorry, not next Thursday, next Friday at 1 o'clock, tune in for Chef Dulce teaching us how to make healthy sweets at 1 o'clock at the Self-Care Lunch and Learn. And also remember, every Tuesday and every Thursday in the month of October, we have our re-employment series. So you can attend live or you can catch the recordings on our churchbythesea.org website. Thank you again, Christina. We love it that you came, and we're going to be meditating. At least I am. I hope you guys are too.
And I love Dulce, Chef Dulce.
It's wonderful.
Great. So enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.